I wanted to make a review of 2001 A Space Odyssey, but then I realized there are so many reviews of this movie on YouTube, there is not really much to add on top of that. Surprisingly, there are not many reviews of the movie 2010, the year we made contact, even though this movie answers most of our questions we had from the Space Odyssey. Now, I am aware that 2001 is one of the greatest movies ever made by the legend Stanley Kubrick. It is a timeless masterpiece. In comparison to that, 2010 is just a good 80s movie with the visual effects limitations they had back in those days. But the bright side is 2010 is more comprehensive and satisfies our curiosity as it answers most of the questions we had from the Space Odyssey. At least for the most part, because we still don't know what the monolith is, we only get to know what its purpose was. Okay, so here goes the spoiler warning. If you watched 2001 A Space Odyssey but did not watch 2010, the year we made contact, go watch that and come back. The questions I had after watching 2001. What was going on with HAL? Why he went on a killing rampage? What happened to David Bowman after he became the Starboy child? What are the monoliths and what purpose do they serve? As you can already imagine, 2010 picks up from 9 years after the events of 2001. A Russian spaceship is going to Jupiter's orbit where the Discovery 1 and the giant monolith is located. Along with the Russian astronauts, they wanted to take few American experts who can inspect Discovery 1, HAL 9000 computer, and sort of salvage any information that may come of use. The ones they take are first, Dr. Haywood Floyd. He was in charge of the Jupiter mission when they sent Discovery 1 to Jupiter's orbit. Second, Dr. Chandra. He's the person who made HAL 9000 computer. He would be the best person to communicate with it. Third, Dr. Walter Kurnow. He's currently working on the Discovery 2 spaceship, so he is knowledgeable of Discovery 1 and would be the best person to get it started in a short time. So they pack up, go with the Russians, reach Jupiter's orbit, get on board Discovery 1. Dr. Chandra fixes HAL. He erases all HAL's memories from Discovery 1 mission. He also finds out what the original orders were for HAL for the Discovery mission. This is where it starts making more sense. When Discovery 1 launched, a total secrecy was maintained by the American government about this mission. The two astronauts, David Bowman and Frank Poole, were unaware of the main objective of the mission. They were supposed to take the Discovery 1 to Jupiter's orbit, that's all. The investigative team was trained separately and was in hibernation before the launch. The only one who was completely aware of the purpose of the mission was HAL. He was capable of operating the spaceship by himself if the crew was incapable or killed. He was also ordered not to reveal the objective of the mission to David Bowman or Frank Poole. In other words, he was instructed to lie/hide. This was a direct conflict with his core design as HAL was supposed to process information accurately without distortion or concealment. But he was told to lie and he found himself trapped as he didn't know how to lie. So he became paranoid. And the orders were given in such a manner that made him prioritize the mission over the crew's life and secrecy. A presidential order was given to hide the true mission objective from Bowman and Poole. Yet, if they were to die somehow, HAL could just do the mission himself. Now, you might ask, why kill the investigative crew? I don't have a precise answer, but I think he could have calculated that if they were to wake up and see both Bowman and Poole are gone, they might have come to the conclusion that HAL has done something to them. On HAL's part, it was a complicated situation of hiding, lying, plus a must-do mission, plus by the orders of the White House devaluing the lives of the crew. So, as he famously once said, this can only be attributed to human error. Even though everyone thinks HAL is evil, he actually redeems himself in 2010. When Dr. Chandra asks him to sacrifice himself to save the crew, and he does that, he does value everyone's lives over his own. Next, let's talk about David Bowman, aka the Star Child. He sort of became an agent of the monolith and it gave him superpowers. I assume he could travel at light speed as he was going back and forth to Earth Jupiter, Europa, and Discovery 1, he doesn't age. He ends up giving the crew a warning and saved them. He also takes HAL with him. Now let's talk about the monolith in both movies. Based on 2001 and 2010, we still don't know what are the monoliths. It may appear the same, but each of them has different attributes. The first one that appeared in Dawn of Men helped apes start their evolution. The second one found on the moon worked as a signal transmitter. The third one was around 2 kilometers long. I believe that was a spaceship. The fourth and probably millions more worked as a device that turned Jupiter into a star, which turned Europa, a moon of the Jupiter, into a lush green planet. And the last one that appeared on Europa, I believe, is waiting for a semi-intelligent life form to get in contact with to start its evolution, just like the first one.